Hello and welcome to another episode of my Let's Play World of Tanks. Why am I using the World Smasher cannon? Well, because as I posted on my Facebook wall, and I'm sure you have all seen, Wargaming has announced they're going to be doing Tier 10 Mediums and TDs. And this is the only tank destroyer that I have that is a Tier 9. I don't have any Tier 9 Mediums because I decided instead I'm going to go after the E100, that I'm going to be playing this for a little bit just to try and bring it up, get a little experience on it, so that way whenever the patch comes out, which I'm assuming, as far as I read, was going to be 7.5, if I'm not mistaken, for the Tier 10 stuff. I could be wrong, though. It could be a little bit later than that. I was thinking that I would get a little experience in this thing, so that way when the upgrades do come, I can go ahead and just jump right on top of it, not have to worry too much about having to deal with make my way through it. I'd have a little bit of starting going into it, maybe even have enough if I'm lucky, and play this thing a lot, in which I could upgrade it, or at least within a short relative amount of time. So, just doing something a little different. Figured I'd play it. I actually love this thing. It'll do some crazy amounts of damage, some pretty high-end penetration, and just I really enjoy playing this tank. It really I like the whole nature of it, that I can just sit back and be a lumbering beast that does a boatload of damage. So we're just going to play around. Of course, with tanks like the M103, I really got to pay attention to where my shots land. Can't just gun it and hope for the best. Like that. I did hit him, just tracked him though, so not exactly what I was hoping for. And he's not looking at me. Okay. We have a big rush coming at us, which isn't going to go so well if I'm not careful. So we're just going to take one more shot at this guy. And you see, that's why I love the World Smasher. I just did 750 hit points, and that was a moderate-sized hit. That's not even a high, heavy hit. So it's pretty intense. Now I got to watch out for this AT, because he's coming back there. So I got to get back there and help out our artillery as quick as I can. Say this thing is kind of slow, so I can only do so much. And we just shout, World Smash! So I hit him for the majority of his hit points. Gosh, this thing's powerful and disgusting. But I love this tank so much. I just gotta avoid getting hit by artillery, sadly. Because, yeah, as you can see, they're gonna try and range it on me. Being a Tier 9, I'm a juicy target. Now, of course, that means our artillery is probably exposed. So I need to readjust real quick here. Don't want to leave it too open. That SU-152 should hopefully be able to get back around there and assist those guys. I might as well. Actually, I might just position myself so I can spot out this way. As soon as I stop, I should have line of sight, or at least binoculars should pick up some stuff. No, it doesn't. Okay then. Let us head in reverse and try and help out my team, shall we? Looks like they're getting hit pretty hard over here, whereas that side seems to be alright. They have a Patton and a T-34 against a T-34 who is already damaged. So, man, we've lost quite a few tanks over here. We're going to have to come help. Definitely needs help. Of course, some of our team's already calling for a loss. I do not see it a loss yet, but hopefully we can pull this one out. I don't know how our team was faring. Come on, that chat. And that's what I love this tank for. Just nailed him for almost all of his damage. Of course, I'm just one man here standing against the horde. Alright, this T-34 is the most deadly target, so we'll take him out first. Now we'll wait. We'll poke back out and kill something else. I can pretty much one-shot everything that's in front of me, I believe. I don't see anything over there that's worth having to worry about. Got the T-20, and we got a T-44. If that SU kills the T-44, won't have to worry too much about anything else. but he didn't. So it looks like I'm going to have to kill off here. Alright, let's just slowly back up. Hopefully not get touched by the artillery. So I need to get back up on my hill where I have relative safety. Of course, I'm not going to pass up the quick easy shot real quick. Hit him and bounce. Awesome. Uh-oh. Lost a driver. But we do have some tanks swooping around the side. We'll have to see how well that does. Alright, that T-20 is going up to base. Crud. Might be a nightmare trying to get to him. And that's of course the trick, is I need to get up there. Ugh! I got Type 59 behind me. So those are my options. I can either... Shucks. Nope. And that was the best I could do, sadly. Let's see if our team can make it up, though. If our artillery can hit him, or we start capping, we get 2 people on that cap, we'll actually win. But, sadly, I made the choice of looking one way when I should have probably looked the other. Oh, look, it actually reset. Excellent. So as long as they get on that cap and do not get hit, we should win this game. So I'm going to just talk over real quick about the Tier 10 stuff here. The Tier 10 TDs, it looks like everything's going to get replaced as far as I saw. And then, of course, the Tier 10 Mediums, it looks like there's going to be a few minor updates here and there as well. So it should be interesting to see how it works out. Hopefully I'm able to grind up a bit. I'd highly recommend that anyone that has Tier 9s definitely get on that. You take off your crew training and put it back onto standard experience. Just start earning that experience so that way you can easily recap what you, or get a little bit of experience head start on what the expansion might be. So, as this game winds to a close, luckily we somehow won that one. I wish I knew how. We'll talk about it more in just a bit. So as I was saying, the Tier 10s are coming out about 7.5, maybe 7.6. They haven't really announced it, but I'm kind of leaning that way. I of course am just pulling that out of nowhere with a guess. But I'm willing to bet that. I'm kind of hard charging this one up the hill. But I would highly recommend pulling out your Tier 9s and checking off that whole train crew and put all that experience back into the tanks. Just try and get that head start. I really haven't had many Tier 10s. Like I said, I kind of focused on the... or Tier 9s. I focused on the... what was that thing? The E100. Which, I mean, all in all is not a bad idea. Because the E100, I do really want it. But I could have been focusing on so many other tanks had I not been going for that one. So I could have had maybe 2 different Tier 9 mediums by now, but oh well. Because I'm just sitting here waiting on cash, really, at the moment. But no problem. It is what it is. Now, if this pattern would get out of my way... There we go. Just kind of skirt back around here. Okay, so patch 7.4 is actually coming out relatively soon. And patch 7.4, as I showed with my video about 1 or 2 ago, is the French TDs and French artillery. And I mean, it's actually really interesting because it just adds a little more depth to the French stuff. I mean, they... not good. Got hit by a M41. Come on, repair track. Oh, there we go. Let's not make some stupid moves again. That was not good. So, the M41 hit me, and apparently everything else is too. Alright, I can't see anything, so we're just going to scoot back. Play it safe. So, the French TDs and French SPGs, it's a little variety. As I played them, the initial stuff is all kind of the same. I really don't notice too much of a difference between any of the French stuff and any of the later, or the other nationalities in terms of their stuff that they get at that level. it really comes to shine in the later levels when they get the nifty autoloaders. But to get that, you got to be level 8 and 9. And so a lot of people were mentioning that the autoloaders for the French SPGs are going to be a little excessive, that they're going to do a lot of damage and they're going to be overpowered. But you got to look at it this way. Let's back up. The autoloaders for the French artillery is actually just going to cause it to have about the same DPS over the course of the game as any other level whatever or SPG, because they're probably going to have a rather long reload that's going to take quite a while to deal with. So the whole, while you do have an initial 3 rounds that are going to do some massive amount of damage, it's the later rounds, or as you get later into the game, you're going to notice that they're going to really drop off, because you're going to be so dependent on that reload that after they expend those 3 rounds, they're going to be hurting to pick back up the pace. They're pretty much just going to hamper their team. So running it with other artillery, great. Doing the alpha strikes accordingly, awesome. Just kind of sitting there and just kind of winging it, though, is the problem, because as I was saying, when you're on that reload, it's almost as if you do not have an artillery for the minute or so it's going to take to reload. So it's kind of a toss-up as to if it's actually going to be super useful, super powerful. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see when it gets mixed in with the rest of the tanks. I'm willing to bet that it'll all balance out in the end. And even if they do have to tweak a few things here and there, they will, and it'll be good. Speaking of tweaking, though, the T110 and the M103 are actually going to be slightly tweaked downwards. Their reloads on their guns are going to be tweaked just a bit. The T110 is going to be pushed so it has about a quarter of a second more for its reload, and the M103 is going to have almost a full second for its reload. And so that's really going to make a difference, just to bring it that little margin in, because it was a little high end beforehand. Now it's going to be right about where it should be, with being on base with some of the other tier 9s and 10s, because initially they were very powerful, and I don't want to call them overpowered, but they certainly were definitely one of the better tier 9s and tier 10s to be using. Oh man, if I could only get rid of that artillery. I'm tempted to go around. I might actually be better off doing that. Debatable what to do. I don't know where that T-59 is. So yes, the turret speed also is going to be brought back in by about 2 degrees a second on the, what is the thing called? On the T-110. And the M103, like I said, is just going to be tweaked just enough so that it should also be in balance with the rest. Now, I personally absolutely love the IS-8. It reminds me very much of the IS-3 of days old, and I just really enjoyed that tank. So, I mean, this is actually my favorite tier 9 at the moment. The KV-3 certainly, or not KV-3, the IS-3 certainly was back in its prime, but nowadays, I mean, I'm loving the speed of this tank, along with the very hard-hitting gun that this thing has, that'll penetrate most tanks, and I really do not have any problems. I really enjoy it. Kind of have this guy trapped. He's not really coming anywhere. What to do? Okay, it is just this IS-4. So we're just going to kind of corner him in here while I chit-chat for a bit, because he's not going to come out. Our IS-7 has him cornered. By the time I get down there, it'll be all over. So, yeah, those two will be brought in, and the ST1 is actually going to be brought up just a bit. I believe the gun is going to be modified to have a little bit more penetration, and in terms of anything else, I do not believe that it's really going to have too much more. Maybe a little bit traverse speed addition and a little bit of a addition to its... I don't even think its armor is going to be added onto. But overall, it's going to be a really nice little tweak. Bring those tanks all in line with the rest, and they're doing a great job of modifying things as they see them to kind of bring everything to be competitive and not one tank stand out amongst the crowd. Let me move into one last final game here. In addition to the modifications to the tanks to help out the balance. They're also introducing the game modes, which I talked about. The neutral cap, the single cap, which is they're calling capture the flag. But it should be interesting. Definitely will change things up a bit. Get a little bit of variety, because the game otherwise can get a little dull if it's the same thing over and over and over. So it's nice to see that they're changing up the game types, and they're going to have to slightly modify the maps to make them fit. So I think it's a really good addition that they're going to do that and really change things up and help breathe a little bit of variety into this game. Even though I really do enjoy it either which way, it doesn't necessarily need anything else. Uh-oh, we have no one running that side. We'll have to either push really hard or return to base. I will actually turn around and return to base, because I cannot guarantee that that T-29 is going to be able to sit over there. So I'll come back. Head over there real quick. A little bit of travel to get over there first off, but not too bad. So yeah, new game modes should be coming in. There's 2 new premiums also, which I will not be picking up. I just don't have the time and money. And then on top of that, we're going to see a bunch of new 2 new maps. They have a nice little thing where they're usually releasing 1 map every patch, which is or 2 maps every map patch, which is phenomenal. It's absolutely amazing that they're willing to do that, because it gives a little, how should I put it? It definitely adds more to the game that we're willing to do that. I think they're going to be taking out 2 maps too, if I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me on that. So, anyway, now that I've been dancing around for a little bit, finally getting into the action over here. So, definitely going to get the E100, despite my desire to all suddenly switch to yet another tank. So we'll definitely be getting the E100 for the next video, and we'll also be seeing the new French stuff. So, well, probably do a 7.4 look at our first look, and then a standard from there. Go and do my normal video or normal selection of tanks. Uh-oh, what am I going to be walking into here? Be careful, because the IS-7 is a painful tank. Hiding behind a rock. He's baiting me. I'm not going to go all the way there. Are you kidding me? Yep, there we go. I need to see. Also, he's damaged. I, on the other hand, am not. Of course, I'll bounce off him. Minor detail there. Kind of aiming for what I thought would be a weak spot, but it wasn't. And I'm not going to be able to see him, am I? Yeah, I'll be able to see this, I guess. Ooh, oh, look, it's bad chat. All the way over there. I did not realize how fast this IS-8 or IS-7 reloads. Not IS-7, what am I thinking? IS-4. Man, I can't get my tank straight. So, I'm going to have to try and take out this IS-7 from the front. Not exactly what I wanted to do, but not much choice. Now this bad chat just happens to wander out here, and now I'm not going to be able to see him. He'll be able to hide in the camo. There we go. So we'll just pop him really quick. Oh, 4 damage left. You're kidding me. So they're, let's see here. I don't know what I'm going to do with this IS-7 here. I know the IS won't be able to penetrate me. Take out the bad chat so I no longer have to deal with him. IS-7 is the one I gotta worry about. And I should have a... Well, nah, I just bounced it off him. I believe that's my Skype telling me that I should be getting a phone call real soon. So I actually am going to probably need to disable Skype real quickly here. This IS-7 comes around the bend. No, that's actually HP update. Come on, load back into the game. Uh-oh, did I just screw something up? Oh no, what did I do? So yeah, game crash. Let's see what I'm walking back into here. Oh look, I'm actually just fine. Little IS-7 here. Yeah, that crash was not good. Can't believe that I crashed like that, and I actually got lucky that I didn't die. How should I do this? I do not know how I'm going to manage this one. Alright, backing up. Definitely a good thing right now. Let's back up and use my artillery to my advantage here. Whew. Talk about game crashing and changing everything. So that means if I lose, I can blame it on the game crash, right? Yeah, I think that's allowed. I'll just bounce right off that turret if I shoot him. That did not go how I had hoped. I really honestly should be closing the distance on him, try and get a better angle on him. But I'm not going to argue with the artillery hitting him right like that. It's not going to do any damage. I could try. Nope. Luckily I do have a really quick reload. And he's still bouncing off me. Good. Yeah, I'm definitely going to blame my game crash on this game no matter how it turns out. Uh-oh. I didn't know that artillery had me like that. Nope. Oh, not good. So artillery has to be somewhere right next to me. Our mediums are swarming their base. Nope, not good. Not good. Come on. Survive it, survive it. Come on. Yeah! Woo! The artillery's pounding all around me. All I need is just one solid hit. Come on. Come on. No! I thought I fired, but I guess I bounced off him. So they're gonna have to cap really quick. Oh, beautiful! I got avenged. Oh man. Sadly, I crashed out there, but that happened. So in the end, it looks like we're actually gonna get all those tanks. Beautiful. I don't know how I managed to crash, get back into the game, and now with any luck we'll be able to take a victory here, depending on what happens with if we're going to cap or not. So I'm going to finish it off there, sign off real quick. So I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode. Hope you all are looking forward to 7.4 in addition to the Tier 10 TDs and not SPGs, that'd be crazy. Mediums that should be coming out, so definitely everyone should get ready for that as well. I'm going to go as quick as I can to get my E100, and I'm going to let this one wrap up with hopefully someone killing this artillery. Right. And eventually someone's going to get rammed. There we go. That works. So, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I'll catch you guys in the next episode.